You step outside, the wind hits your face like a blade. Your breath freezes before it even leaves your mouth. Now imagine that cold lasting not one winter, but 20,000 years. For roughly 20,000 years, much of Europe, Asia, and North America sat under a deep freeze scientists call the Last Glacial Maximum. Average temperatures were 5 to 10 degrees Celsius colder than today. Ice sheets buried entire continents under sheets of solid white. And your ancestors lived through every single year of it. No heated homes, no insulated jackets, no central heating. Just human skin, human ingenuity, and a will to survive. So how did they not simply freeze to death? The answer is stranger and smarter than most people realize. Let's start with the obvious: fire. Archaeological evidence from sites like Vanguard Cave in Gibraltar shows controlled fire use stretching back over 100,000 years. But fire alone wasn't enough during the deepest cold. A fire warms a small circle. Beyond that circle, the Ice Age didn't care how brave you were. So early humans turned to something even older than fire: fat. Animal fat was survival currency, not just food, insulation. Anthropologist and archaeologist research on Ice Age diets shows that Paleolithic hunters deliberately targeted fat-rich animals like mammoths, woolly rhinos, and reindeer not just for calories, but because fat metabolizes slowly and generates sustained body heat. A lean kill could leave you fed but freezing. A fat-rich kill could keep your internal furnace burning for days. Here's where it gets strange. Some researchers studying isotopic data from Ice Age human bones have found evidence that fat consumption was so prioritized that humans sometimes avoided eating lean meat entirely during certain seasons. A condition modern nutritionists call rabbit starvation. Because your body burns more energy digesting protein than it gives back. Too much lean meat and you'd freeze from the inside out even with a full stomach. Now picture the scene. A small group huddled in a shallow shelter dug into the side of a hill. The wind howls outside. Inside, the air smells like smoke and rendered fat. Someone is chewing on a strip of mammoth blubber, not because it tastes good, but because it's the only thing standing between them and hypothermia. Clothing tells an even wilder story. For decades, scientists assumed Ice Age humans simply draped animal hides over their shoulders like blankets. But the discovery of sewing needles at sites across Siberia and Eastern Europe, some dating back 40,000 years, changed everything. These weren't blankets, these were fitted tailored garments, tight-sleeved coats, layered leggings, hooded parkas stitched from reindeer and wolf hide. Sewn so precisely that researchers studying the burial site of Sungir in Russia found beads arranged in patterns suggesting full-body fitted clothing. Essentially an Ice Age snowsuit. Decorated and personalized over 30,000 years ago. Why does the stitching matter so much? Because loose hides let cold air flow underneath and steal your body heat. Tight, layered sewn clothing traps a thin pocket of warm air against your skin. It's the exact same principle behind modern thermal base layers. Your ancestors invented insulated outerwear tens of thousands of years before Gore-Tex existed. And it gets even stranger when you look at footwear. Some researchers examining toe bone structure changes in ancient human skeletons have proposed that humans began wearing structured footwear as early as 40,000 years ago, based on subtle changes in how toe bones bore weight. Changes consistent with walking in supportive shoes rather than barefoot. Bare feet on Ice Age ground wasn't just uncomfortable, it was a death sentence. Frostbite could cost you a toe, a foot, your ability to hunt, and eventually your life. So shelter became just as critical as clothing. In the open, treeless steppe of Ice Age Ukraine and Russia, where wood was scarce, humans built shelters out of something almost unbelievable: mammoth bones at sites like Mezhyrich. Archaeologists uncovered the remains of dwellings constructed from dozens of mammoth skulls, jawbones, and tusks, stacked and arranged as a structural frame, then covered with hides and packed with snow for insulation. Snow, despite being cold itself, is an excellent insulator. Trapped air pockets inside packed snow block wind and hold in radiant body heat, the same principle behind igloos used by Arctic peoples today. Let's reconstruct a single Ice Age night. You're inside a bone-framed shelter on the open steppe. Outside, the temperature has dropped far below freezing, and wind is screaming across the flat, treeless plain with nothing to slow it down. Inside, the air is still. A small fire glows in a shallow pit, just large enough to take the edge off, not enough to risk burning through your limited fuel supply. You're wearing a fitted hide coat, sewn tight at the wrists and neck. Your feet are wrapped in soft leather, stuffed with dried grass for extra insulation, a trick still used by some traditional cultures today. Beside you, your family presses close together, sharing body heat the same way emperor penguins huddle in Antarctic colonies. This wasn't comfort. This was a calculated, daily fight against a planet trying to kill you. And here's the counterintuitive twist almost nobody expects. The cold wasn't only the enemy. It may have been one of the forces that made human social bonds so deep. Researchers studying group dynamics in cold climate hunter-gatherer societies, including work referencing anthropologist Polly Wiesner's studies on social storytelling around fires, have found that long, dark, freezing nights forced people together for survival. And that proximity built something beyond warmth. It built language, storytelling, shared myth, and tighter social cooperation. The same fires that kept frostbite away also became the original gathering place for human conversation. Some researchers argue the Ice Age may have accelerated human social complexity, not despite the brutal cold, but partly because of it. Think about that for a second. The very thing trying to kill your ancestors may have helped build the social glue that makes us human. Now think about your own lives. You complain about a chilly office. You reach for a thermostat without thinking. You put on a jacket built from synthetic fibers engineered in a lab. When your ancestors achieved the same insulating effect using sewn animal hide and an eyed needle carved from bone, tens of thousands of years before electricity existed. Every time you pull on a warm coat, you're using a survival technology your ancestors perfected in the deadliest winters this planet has ever produced. You step back outside today. The wind hits your face, but this time you remember. This cold is nothing compared to what they survived, and somehow, against every odd a frozen planet could throw at them, they didn't just endure it. They built fire, stitched clothing, raised bone houses, and turned isolation into connection. They turned the Ice Age into proof that human ingenuity could outlast a planet's worst weather.